Let's then talk about the two guys we just heard from, Marc Guehi and Antoine Semenyo. It has been a seamless transition so far for their lives at Manchester City. How much is that due to the calibre of the players? How much down to the club they've joined?
I think both. I think both. You've got to remember with Guehi, he's coming into a team that had probably 20-30% more of the play than what he usually has. So he has to get on the ball. I think he's been outstanding the way he's got the ball and he sprayed it around. He even playing simple balls into midfield. The other lads hit the ground running. I think, 4 in 5? I mean, you couldn't ask for any more. So they both started very, very well. I think they'll be disappointed. Going there, you're thinking, we've got a chance of winning the league here. And within a couple of weeks of being there, not because of their fault, but they could be out of it by tomorrow afternoon. So, for me, they've both done very, very well. They're both good players. They both come across as real nice people.
Long term, how much do they improve City for you?
Oh, yeah, Guehi, he's England's centre-half. For me, he's first choice. I think he's a top player. Yeah, I think they improve the team. They prove it. I think Pep's gone out and gone for the now, which, one was flying at Bournemouth, one was flying at Palace. Haven't got to settle in. They hit the ground running, which they have. But I don't think it's going to be enough. I think this could all be all over by tomorrow at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it could be 9 points, the gap between Arsenal and Manchester City, if Arsenal win at home to Sunderland in the 3 o'clock kick-off this afternoon. By the way, it is half-time at Old Trafford and Manchester United take a 1-0 lead in at half-time. So at the moment, Michael Carrick on for a 4th consecutive win. Tottenham Hotspur definitely not helping their case this afternoon. Christian Romero receiving his 2nd red card of the season, his 6th for Tottenham overall. Dreadful challenge. And then Brian Mbeumo, really well-taken goal, capitalised to give them a 1-0 lead, his 9th Premier League goal of the season. Boydie, let's talk about something that Merce touched upon there, the kind of signings for now versus the future. Is Guardiola planning from a personal point of view for the now? Yeah. Do you see him at the club beyond the end of the season?
I think he's brought players in that can get him success right now, but I mean, I said that a couple of weeks. I don't think Pep Guardiola will be here next season. He has been arguably the best manager we've ever seen in the Premier League.
So what do you base that on?
I just think he's with the noise, what you hear, and I think the way he has. I just think there's a different Pep Guardiola right now. I think that there's one that's grown a little bit frustrated. I just feel as if it's coming to an end for Pep. And we touched on it a few weeks ago regarding the signings. These two, Guehi and Semenyo, have been brought in for, as Paul says, to try and get them success this season and longer term. But when you look at a lot of the signings from previous windows, it was a work in progress. And I feel as if, whether that's the way that Manchester City wanted to go, Hugo Viana, the sporting directors, came in. Whether they see eye to eye, I don't know. But it feels as if Manchester City as a club might have a different view of where they want to take things. But Pep, there is no doubt that he wants success right now, and that's the right way to be. But you've also got to look for Manchester City have got to look after themselves long term as well. So I kind of get the feeling we're in the last, few months of Pep Guardiola's reign at Manchester City. And if he has to go, listen, it has been unbelievable. There is no doubt in that.
Exactly. They're into the League Cup final soon, so that gives him a chance to win his 19th major trophy at the club. We'll see what happens today and tomorrow in terms of whether they remain in the title race or not. But do you sense the club are rebuilding for a life with or without Guardiola?
It's so difficult to know, isn't it, what Pep Guardiola wants to do. And, there's obviously rumours last season, wasn't there? Again, this season, they clearly are rebuilding. You can see the profile of player that they try to bring in is the sort of athletic, physical type player. Similarly with the coaching staff as well, bring in those sort of people in that can, of course Manchester City can still pass teams off the pitch, but then they're also capable now of going back to front really quickly. So that sort of change in transition, you think Pep Guardiola just wants to keep winning things, doesn't he? And you just think if he thinks that he can get another season where he can start competing, see what happens this season. Of course, he's got an opportunity, like you say, to win the League Cup final. But then let's see what happens next year. So I just don't think we know, do we? But you can see that there is change, and whether that's for Pep Guardiola to continue or is that for somebody else to come in and then take them forward again.
And listen, Merce, we were talking earlier about, off the back of Virgil van Dijk, about players receiving criticism, whether that's from pundits, whether it's online as well. But the players are pretty good at meeting it out as well. We've been talking about Christian Romero, didn't stop Rodri post the game last week against Tottenham. Fairly scathing assessment of Rob Jones's performance, saying that officials don't want City to win the league. But he himself, like Guardiola, he's a serial winner. He's not at it at the moment because of that long-term injury. Do you feel there's a sort of growing sense of frustration at the club at the moment? They know in terms of the title race, they're a bit short at the moment.
Yeah, and they're not the team they were. They're not. I don't sit here now and see them winning 8 or 9 on the trot. I just don't think they've got it in them. Rodri was very fortunate to be on the pitch at the end of that football match.
Should have been a second yellow.
He should have been a second yellow. I think he was very fortunate. They're winners. That's what I like about Pep Guardiola. He's a winner. He ain't worried about coming second. Second and getting in the Champions League. He wants to win. He wants to win, and they will give it a go, and they'll go to the end. It's fine margins. I'm sitting there last week. It's 2-0 at half-time. I'm thinking, I might have this a bit wrong here. This is a good performance. They could go on and win this game 5-0. Big statement. Then at the end, you're sitting there, and they're hanging on to get a 2-2 draw in the end. So something's missing at the moment. Something's missing.
And also, what feels like the change, because Merce there mentioning those long runs they used to go on. I mean, a couple of seasons ago, they went on that 11-game winning run at around about this time of year. And so the significance of Arsenal going first on a season like that, not as significant. It just feels, because they don't look capable of going on that kind of run, that Arsenal going first again this weekend is massively significant.
Yeah, but I think Manchester City had the advantage of, before looking at it, they had the best players, they had the best team. Whereas now, there is no doubt they'll be looking at Arsenal and saying, they've got the best players, they've got the best team. And I know you can't look at it like that, but that's the reality of it. I mean, Arsenal have had, some setbacks, but they've bounced back. Where Manchester City, when you look at it, it's been a long time now since they've beaten Arsenal as well, where they had that stranglehold over that fixture for a long, long period. Manchester City, it's changed. Yeah. They will look at it now and think, they need to go on another one of those runs, but I just can't see. Even if they do, Arsenal could do the exact same and they end up nowhere. So I think that for me, I just can't see anything else other than Arsenal winning this league.
Yeah, and you've probably just seen that graphic between City and Arsenal. The team playing second has failed to win any of the last 6 matches. Now,